Well, let's go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. EagleMortgageCompany.com is where you find them virtually. If you want to find them in person, it's 114th and Davenport. Why do you want to find them? Because they do a great job with conventional FHA and VA loans. So if you're thinking about getting a new house, talk to Eagle Mortgage. Get that pre-approval letter. Meet with one of their mortgage originators so you know how the process is going to work and what you're going to be doing. And then start your house search with a peace of mind that you want. They'll take good care of you. EagleMortgageCompany.com. All right, on the docket, first of all, Trenton, the Omaha City Council this week approved a redevelopment plan that would make way for the Mutual of Omaha skyscraper and some other related things. We've talked about this a little bit in the past couple of weeks when it was thrown out there. It's a 138-page redevelopment agreement, but basically, in a nutshell, it talks about the tower. It talks about the city owning the $99 million 2,200 stall parking garage related to it. It maps out how Mutual of Omaha can get the block immediately to the east, which was once part of Jean Leahy Mall and is now being used as construction staging area. And it also talks about how there'll be a land swap with Mutual and its developer getting the W. Dale Clark Library site in exchange for the city taking back ownership of the old Union Pacific headquarters lot.
Just north of the current one at 14th and Dodge.
Yeah, that's right. And so that's all full speed ahead. Of course, the streetcar is also mentioned many times in that redevelopment agreement, and the city continues to make a lot of milestones for the streetcar. In fact, within the last week, the first meeting of the new streetcar authority was held, and so that's kind of getting underway and getting going. The other thing that was kind of interesting this week related to this set of projects was that it came out that the total redevelopment investment for the Mutual of Omaha skyscraper, as well as the eventual redevelopment, whatever that looks like, redevelopment of the existing Mutual of Omaha campus, would likely exceed $1 billion. The skyscraper itself has been upgraded from an estimated $443 million investment to a $600 million investment. Yes, I guess those supply chain shortages are real. And the other estimate is that for perhaps $400 million of redevelopment and construction and investment on the current soon-to-be old Mutual campus.
I remember when $1 billion used to be a lot of money.
I remember when ConAgra did the downtown campus in the late 80s, and the whole project was $60 million, and everyone talked about, oh, that's so big. That doesn't even get you 10% of a Mutual Omaha skyscraper nowadays.
Isn't that amazing?
That is. Now, we still have not received word from Mutual exactly how tall this thing's going to be, but all indications are it will likely be the tallest building in the city, or if not, pretty darn close.
Well, it sounds like Lanahaw Development will be the head of the redevelopment of the current Mutual Omaha campus. There's been a lot of talk about whether those buildings will be repurposed or torn down. You know, they're older buildings. Great location along Dodge Street. You got a lot of land there. The city's going to end up with the parking garages. And it sounds like the city's going to buy those. Was it $59 million or something like that? There's 3 parking garages. And right now, I believe that if you go to Midtown Crossing, I think it's just you get the first 2 or 3 hours for free.
Oh, for parking.
And it'll be interesting to see if they charge for the first couple hours after this.
You might have to.
That's always been a kind of a neat thing about Midtown Crossing. They certainly put a lot of parking in there, and it'll be neat to see what happens to that campus, though.
Well, and there's already a lot of activity around that area. You know, the Blackstone Plaza building is coming along. Eventually, WWT is moving into that building, and so the current WWT building will come down and be replaced with multi-story stuff. Plans call for some of those surface parking lots in that area to be filled. For instance, construction, or at least prepping for construction and demolition, is now underway on the surface parking lot west of the Kempton Cottonwood Blackstone Hotel. And that's going to be a 9-story mixed-use building with a city-owned parking garage. There is a small multi-tenant building that has to come down, but the concrete barriers are up in place. So that project, which will be monumental for the Blackstone district, is well underway now.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we got a personal tour of Blackstone Plaza, 16-story building from John Lund, who's leading that group, and it is beautiful. It is Spencer Morrissey in our office and I put a architectural firm on the 12th floor, and that was where
Good view.
Yeah, that was where the Plaza Club was. If you remember that, ladies and gentlemen, that was they had a kitchen, and it was a great restaurant for Kiewit executives and other people. And there's a small elevator, also known as a dumbwaiter, that goes up to the cloud room, which is top notch. They redid that. It's got 360-degree views with a balcony around it, and it was pretty sharp. That's the building where Suzanne Walter Scott lived for a number of years when he ran Kiewit, and then Kiewit, bought the Blackstone, and that's hallowed ground over there. Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway still in.
I say there's a famous guy who has an office in that building.
Yeah, and then there's still room for lease, and if you call me, and I'll represent you, and I know John Lund's weaknesses, or at least some of them, and we can make it a great deal.
Oh, so you'll go toe-to-toe with him in the lease negotiations?
Again.
Okay. and with that, it'll be very cool also when we make movement on the streetcar going up and down that corridor. So you'll basically see kind of a linear downtown along Farnham Street, because there'll be so much investment with pretty high density by Omaha standards buildings.
Well, on the Grow Omaha show, it'll be fun to chart the progress of the streetcar.
Absolutely. And we will continue to do that. Well, let's look a little further to the west. Last week, if you were with us on Grow Omaha, we had Rachel Jacobson. She is the head of Heritage Omaha, the amazing philanthropic organization whose work and performances it's basically unprecedented. There's no other organization quite like it in the country.
No question.
At any rate, she was talking last week about this amazing Central Library project. Well, yesterday, the renderings for that project were released, and it's beautiful. This is going to be a very large building on the southwest corner of 72nd and Dodge, replacing the Dew Space building. This will be one hell of a library.
Well, it'll be state of the art. I think they're going to have a robotic system for all their volumes and books and distribution and all that kind of stuff. And it'll complement the beautiful stuff that's going on over at Crossroads. And I think everybody will be happy with it. It'll take a few years to get built, but it'll definitely improve the core of our city.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how that all turns out and what it looks like. Well, Creighton University started tearing down Gallagher Hall. It's a 60-year-old residence hall, and it's on the far southwest corner of the Creighton University campus. In fact, if you can picture where the pedestrian bridge crosses the North Freeway, connecting the Atlas Apartments, formerly St. Joe, Creighton University Medical Center, to the main part of Creighton campus. It was right there at the eastern foot of that bridge. So that's coming down, and for the short term, it'll be a parking lot, which no one likes surface parking lots in urban areas, but long-term plans call for either an academic or library-type building to go there. And one of the reasons they're doing that is they've got a really nice brand new residence hall under construction more on the other side of campus that is going to be geared towards freshmen. Also at Creighton University, construction is well underway on their health sciences education building, which is at North Freeway and Cummings Street. So that campus,
Clarence Warner Center.
So that campus, Trenton, really continues to transform.
So now we figure out how long naming rights. When you donate to Creighton, you only get 60 years of your family name on a building.
I know, but I don't know who Gallagher was. Maybe it was just an honorary name for someone at the university, perhaps, or maybe it was a donor. I don't know.
So when you're giving $10 million plus.
I know when I went to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, we had a lot of residence halls that were named after famous Nebraskans. Like there was Cather and Pound and Sandos. And not necessarily donors. They were named after famous Nebraskans.
Okay. Starkweather Hall.
I don't think he quite made the cut. Well, a major addition is in the planning stages at Omaha South High School. And there's a fundraising event or campaign. It's called Art in the Heart of South Omaha. It's being led by Thompson Rogers and Michael Yanni. The goal is to raise $15 million for a new art center. I've looked at all of the renderings for this thing. This would be beautiful. If you can, now some of you are probably more familiar with South High School than others, but if you can picture the school, 4519 South 24th Street, just north of 24th and L, a big, classic, old historic brown brick building. I think it's a very cool building. By the way, it is the largest high school in the state.
3,000 students.
Darn near. Yeah, I think it's like just a shade under 2,900. And
we probably had, when we went to Westside, graduated 87, there's probably 3,000 students.
No, 1,500.
Was it
yeah,
really?
Yeah, about 1,500.
I'm puffing.
But there were only 3 grades when you and I went to Westside.
That's a good point.
So it would have been a 2,000
that's
school.
a big high school.
If the freshmen were there, yeah. But now in Omaha, there are quite a few high schools. I think all 3 Millard schools are over 2,000. South obviously is. The West Side is close. I think one of the Papillion schools might be over 2,000. And then I don't know about Central or, I think that's usually pretty big, but Omaha South supposedly is the biggest. At any rate, South is also an arts and performing arts magnet school. So the idea here is to put this very significant arts center onto the southwest corner of the school. It would also create a new entrance to the building. And already, South High School has a very large auditorium. My daughter had a show choir thing there earlier this spring semester, and my mom and dad and I went to go watch it, and all 3 of us were just amazed about how big the auditorium was for a high school auditorium.
That's neat. South High is a beautiful place, and this will be a welcome addition. Yeah,
and then, of course, OPS has 2 new high schools opening this fall for the 2022-23 school year, one of which is Buena Vista at 60th and L, and the other one is Westview on 156th up around Ida, I think between Fort and Ida. So OPS will be a 9 high school district instead of a 7-1. So Trenton, let's see, one other thing I wanted to mention. Remember the old 24-hour fitness that was on the east side of 120th Street north of Blondo?
Stonegate.
That's right. That thing is going to become a 6-story apartment building, somewhat in the spirit of the Swivel Apartments. The Swivel Apartments recently opened just east of the Crossroads. They took an old furniture store and basically converted it into a 5 or 6 story apartment building. That's the story with this old 24-hour fitness on North 120th Street.
Also J Development.
I don't necessarily remember the developer, but I'm not sure. I don't think it's J Development.
They're doing that. They're doing the Cove. Is it Clove? Clove.
Yes. That is closer to Children's Hospital.
They did Centerline Apartments at 72nd and Center.
I could be wrong, and if I am,
maybe a different developer.
I proactively apologize, but I think it's a different developer.
Okay.
Anyway, the fitness club is 40,000 feet. It'll be incorporated into it. So, hey, there'll be some great amenities for an apartment building. And then the extra floor plate that they'll need to have a big apartment complex with 150 market rate apartments will take part of the parking lot.
Great.
So that is your development news of the week, which is brought to you, as always, by Eagle Mortgage. You can find them online at eaglemortgagecompany.com.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.